This dictation will be 100 word per minute. Last study. Start. According to the Black's Law Dictionary, judicial discretion means the exercise of judgment by a judge or court based on what is fair under the circumstances and guided by the rules and principles of law. A court's power to act or not act when a litigant is not entitled to demand the act as a matter of right. The word discretion connotes necessarily an act of a judicial character, and as used with reference to discretion exercised judicially, an actual exercise of judgment and a consideration of the facts and circumstances which are necessary to make a sound, fair, and just determination, and a knowledge of the facts upon which the discretion may properly operate. When it is said that something is to be done within the discretion of the authorities, that something is to be done according to the rules of reason and justice and not according to private opinion, according to law and not humor. It only gives certain latitude or liberty accorded by a statute or rules to a judge as distinguished from a ministerial or administrative official in adjudicating on matters brought before him. Thus, the judges are to consistently remind themselves that the use of discretion has to be guided by law and what is fair under the obtaining circumstances. Having discussed about the discretion, presently we shall advert to the duty of the court in the exercise of power while imposing sentence, for one of the purposes of imposition of requisite sentence is protection of the society and a legitimate response to the collective conscience. The paramount principle that should be the guiding laser beam is that the punishment should be proportionate. It is the answer of law to the social conscience, in a way, is an obligation to the society, which has reposed faith in the court of law to curtail the evil. While imposing the sentence, it is the court's accountability to remind itself about its role and the reverence for rule of law. It must evince the rationalized judicial discretion and not an individual perception or a moral propensity. But if in the ultimate eventuate the proper sentence is not awarded, and fundamental grammar of sentencing is gulitioned, law cannot tolerate it. Sanctity of conscience abhors it. The old saying, the law cannot hunt one's past, cannot be allowed to be buried in an indecent manner, and the rainbow of mercy for no fathomable reason should be allowed to rule. True, it has its own room, but in all circumstances it cannot be allowed to occupy the whole accommodation. The victim, in this case, still cries for justice. We do not think that increase in the fine amount or grant of compensation under the code would be a justified answer in law. Money cannot be the oasis. It cannot assume the center stage for all redemption. Interference in manifestly inadequate and unduly lenient sentence is the justifiable warrant, for the court cannot close its eyes to the agony and anguish of the victim and eventually to the cry of the society. Therefore, striking the balance, we are disposed to think that the cause of justice would be best subserved if the respondent is sentenced to undergo rigorous imprisonment for 2 years apart from the fine that has been imposed by the learned trial judge. Likewise, stressing upon the principle of proportionality in sentencing in the case of Hajra Singh versus Rajkumar, this court stressed that special reasons must be assigned for taking lenient view and undue sympathy for accused is not justified. It was equally important to keep in mind rights of victim as well as society at large, and the corrective theory on the one hand and deterrence principle on the other hand should be adopted on the basis of factual matrix. Following paragraphs from the said judgment under the caption sentencing policy need to be referred to. The cardinal principle of sentencing policy is that the sentence imposed on an offender should reflect the crime he has committed and it should be proportionate to the gravity of the offense. This court has repeatedly stressed the central role of proportionality in sentencing of offenders in numerous cases. The factual matrix of the case is similar to the facts and circumstances in X, wherein the accused was convicted under sections 307, 114 IPC, and for the same the trial court sentenced the accused for 10 years. However, the court in its appellate jurisdiction reduced the sentence to the period already undergone. In that case, this court held that the sentence imposed is not proportionate to the offense committed, hence not sustainable in the eye of law. The law regulates social interests, arbitrates conflicting claims and demands, security of persons and property of the people is an essential function of the state. It could be achieved through instrumentality of criminal law. Undoubtedly, there is a cross-cultural conflict where living law must find answer to the new challenges, and the courts are required to mold the sentencing system to meet the challenges. The contagion of lawlessness would undermine social order and lay it in ruins. Protection of society and stamping out criminal proclivity must be the object of law, which must be achieved by imposing appropriate sentence. Therefore, law as a cornerstone of the edifice of order should meet the challenges confronting the society. Criminal law continues to be as it should be a decisive reflection of social consciousness of society. Therefore, in operating the sentencing system, law should adopt the corrective machinery or deterrence based on factual matrix by deft modulation. Sentencing process via stern where it should be and tempered with mercy where it warrants to be the facts and given circumstances in each case, the nature of the crime, the manner in which it was planned and committed. Stop.